Akasan's honest reactions. Akasan, I'm looking at this article here, as I mentioned before. Christian Bale reveals why he's disappointed with his take on Batman in the Dark Knight trilogy. Would Christian Bale be up for Batman v Batman movie? Oh, that'd be kind of cool. The actor also, remind me to talk about that a little later. The actor also weighs in on why he feels he could have delivered a Dark Knight and how Heath Ledger Joker ruined his plans for the character. I'll play this video because I don't know how to pull this off of you knew fuck. I don't even know how to play this right now. Anyways. God damn it, I'm fucking up. Okay, got it. Finally found the scrolling thing. Hey, Cal Anonymous is back. Oh shit. Anyways, I don't know how to fully pull this. I might figure out a way to do it later for you guys, but there may. Anyways, let's just go ahead and play this shit. See what he has to say. Okay. Oh, multiverse. X-Men. Great movie, Days of Future and Past, right? I thought one of the biggest achievements of the fact that of X-Men movie, Days of Future and Past, is that people were willingly able to accept time travel and such, and I was like, this is perfect. Because one of the things about DC, I think their biggest strength is actually their multiverse situation. And the fact that The Flash is even tapping into that idea with the multiverse, I feel that I would love to see a movie of multiverse, like multiple Batmans. We could bring back all the different Supermen. I think it would be pretty cool to do something like that, but might be too confusing for people. I don't know. Anyways, let's see. What do you gotta say?
I took Gotham's White Knight, and I brought him down to Arkham.
True.
Yahoo Movies recently had a chance to sit down with Christian Bale and
that's cool. I'm glad he got a job.
Trilogy. Bale said he wanted to perform Batman as a much more twisted person.
Batman, he's just this very, very, very dark, messed up character. Like, I found when I put on the suit, I went, I just feel like a bloody idiot if I don't use this as a means of kind of it's his true monstrous self.
Yeah.
Allows to come out in that moment.
True.
Let's do that.
Damn, that looks
then
dope.
Heath Ledger came along.
Yeah.
So chillingly brilliant that it posthumously earned him an Oscar, a Golden Globe, a BAFTA, and a SAG Award.
Heath turned up and just kind of completely ruined all my plans because I went, he's so much more interesting.
I noticed that, yeah.
I don't know, I found your weird, near impossible to understand bat voice to be very interesting. Bale went as far as to say that he feels he has unfinished business with the character.
And so I sort of go, yeah, I know I didn't quite manage what I hoped I would through the trilogy. Chris did, but my own sense of self is like, nah, I didn't quite nail it.
Bale's back in, people. Warm up the Batmobile. Here's my pitch. If people are excited for Batman v Superman, they'll go ape for Batman v Batman.
That would be dope,
Let's
actually.
have Affleck and Bale fight it out
that.
pay-per-view style.
That would be dope.
Christian, you in?
That's enough. Enough's enough. You know what I mean? We did our thing. It's done. You know, I've got nothing else to offer it.
Fuck. Is that it? Alright. Yeah, I could see that because one of the things I noticed about The Dark Knight is it really goes into that interrogation scene. That interrogation scene was like Heath Ledger's finest hour, and I remember watching that scene and looking at Batman and being, wow, he looks like a fucking moron. Like, he looks really ridiculous in The Dark Knight. Like, it was pretty bad. Like, I remember Batman Begins, I was like, fucking hey, this is fucking dope. Like, granted, I know, like, when they made that call for the helmet, the cowl, like, he can turn his head, right? He can turn his head, and he can do the whole cowl thing, but it felt like some of the fear was sort of taken out of him. Like I remember the costume designer for the first Batman suit was just saying how there's a very vampirialistic, romantic feel to him, like a creature of the night type of thing with that first costume. That shit was dope, like with the scowl and everything. It looked like so predatorial and shit. But I know, like, functionally the other suit was much better, but some of the fear was taken away and such, and the Joker being what Heath Ledger did to it also kind of like made it look kind of like just kind of goofy in that interrogation scene when he was just kind of sitting there. But the thing was, it reminds me a lot of something that Jason Todd, no, Alfred said when Jason Todd came back and Under the Red Hood, was when the criminal stopped being afraid of the mask. One of the things that still make Batman a very fearful character is his undying commitment to get the job done. And I still felt like in The Dark Knight Rises, in the Dark Knight trilogy, that we still had that Batman that would still be fucking brutal and like wouldn't stop doing what he wanted to do. But I do see where Chris's Bale is coming from with his particular version of Batman, where he wanted to be a little more darker or grittier. What do you say? Darker. But that, all that being said, I still think that the Dark Knight trilogy is still the best story of Bruce Wayne. I think that, for me, I think that's what it's always been about. Like, and I know that's kind of what Nolan was always shooting for, was he was telling the story of the Batman through Bruce Wayne and less through Batman. But it by all means, it had handicaps. It had a lot of handicaps in the sense of the hyper-realistic tone was easily relatable, and it brought the franchise back from the depths of hell where George Clooney and Schumacher left it. But admittedly, it still had faults in the fact that we couldn't have like a bigger take on the Batman mythos. It just focused more on the mob and more realistic characters, which was still great because it got people back into the Batman, and it plugged into the most popular elements of still had Frank Miller's Year One. It had The Long Halloween. It had there's one more I'm thinking about, but Jeff Loeb's stories and such. So it still had those core elements of the Batman story and the Batman character. It was still all there, but it definitely it was handicapped for certain points to grow in the future. And it's kind of funny because I remember years ago when Snyder was attached to Man of Steel, and then we found out Batman was going to come in. I wasn't a big fan of that either, but I felt like, okay, well, at least if we get an unknown character, or we're gonna be able to get a young actor playing Batman, we're going to be able to get like a little more fantastical sort of story elements to Batman. Like in my mind, I was thinking more like Hush, or just basically kind of like pre New 52, because this was before the New 52 came out. Right? No. Sorry. This was after New 52 just started out. I was like, okay, we'll still be able to get a young Buck Wild Batman, where we can start from scratch and have these more superhero elements in there, and it will tell a pretty damn good story. Personally, I don't think we're gonna go that route now with the Miller influences and what we have now with this particular Batman, but it is very interesting to see. A very good point was brought up today with these two photos that were comparing Christian Bale Batman, or the Nolan trilogy, with the Batman we needed. They said it was the Batman we needed, and then they showed the Batfleck one and the Batman we deserve. like that, right? And it's very interesting. You can take that two different ways because fans have been, I think, has been really fucking hypocritical in the sense that everybody was in love with the TDK trilogy until a new one, and now everybody wants to shit on the Nolan trilogy. Same as now that the Russo brothers are doing the Avengers, everybody wants to start fucking shitting on Joss Whedon for the Age of Ultron. But it's like, okay, but if it wasn't for Whedon with Avengers to begin with, we wouldn't have where comic book movies are right now. So I thought that was pretty funny and ironic with the fact that it's like, okay, the one we deserve. And it was like very truthful in a sense and very symbolic. It's like, okay, well, fanboys have been bitching and complaining that they want one that's straight out of the comics. Well, here you go. For better or for worse, this is where our Batman is now, and only time will tell in about 20 days to see, or a little more than 20 days, to see if it actually gets received well enough with the general public and the rest of the world. It'll be very interesting to see where this goes. Yeah, that's it. Very interesting. Let me know what your thoughts are on all of this, I suppose. Very interesting. Then on top of that, the other reason I was bringing this up is the fact that Morgan Freeman even chimed in and said that in another article, Morgan Freeman was saying that he doesn't think that Batman v Superman can top the Dark Knight trilogy, or one of the movies he was saying. He was talking about Batman Begins, and I understand where he's coming. I mean, he worked on it, but who knows? Who knows what's going to happen? And like I said, one movie, the Nolan trilogy, was shooting for a more relatable story piece that anybody can kind of pick up and be like, fuck, I want to be Batman, or I don't want to be Batman, or at least I like, you can appeal to, like I said, there's only one comic book movie, as far as I know, that has even been nominated for an Oscar. And then on top of that, there's only one comic book movie where somebody won an Oscar, which was in The Dark Knight. So that was the appeal of the Dark Knight trilogy. Now it's only a matter of time in terms of seeing where things fall with Batman v Superman. If it's going to bring in new fans, if it's just going to isolate fans, if it's only going to be isolated, if this is a movie only for the fans, or it will be something more. Who knows? I mean, everybody shit on the Avengers, and everybody thought that Whedon couldn't pull it off. Everybody thought that shit was gonna bomb. I remember this, and then those reviews started coming in that first week, those early returns, and people were just like, oh shit, wait a second, this is actually a brilliant, like I still remember that week when the Avengers was about to come out, and the reviews were coming out, and it was like everywhere, and people were like, oh fuck, wait a second, you mean this shit might be good? So let's see what happens. Wait and see, basically. Wait and see. Alright, let me know what you guys think. Oh. There's this story that I read, or maybe it was a porno, about a black dude in Japan, a prince or something. I don't know. This was years ago, before, MySpace and Hi Friends.